Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to Castle Crashers. Let's continue. Let's see, where are we? We're just on top of the next level, okay? So let's hop into it. It's been a little bit since I last played, so that will be a little, I think, helpful somewhat to this game. This really is kind of a game that I think is probably a little bit better if you specifically take a break. And since this is a game that clearly is designed to have a group of people playing at the same time, the coordination around having a group of people at the same time would probably cause there to be more breaks. Whereas playing this as a single player character, and as a video game critic, I pretty much always marathon games and just play all the way through them as much as possible. We have some other attacks that we've learned and since forgotten. There is something with this lightsaber attack. I'll say that it seems like if I get certain combos, I will shoot off the lightning bolt there, and I'm doing that without hitting the right trigger to use the magic, which we still have only Y and B with the magic is unlocked at the moment. Take note how it kind of rushed to tell me that I should move forward the second I could move forward. An easy couple seconds delay there would have been appreciated. And this little ram is doing some work, whereas the other pets were not really finding themselves to be very useful. And we're getting a decent amount of food dropping out of these guys. But they are also throwing bombs at us. What I think we leveled up on last time was just to get the health to the maximum and the defense to the maximum. And I think that is probably working out about as good as you could hope. Because, man, it is really crazy how that lines up. That's way too precise. Like, I would have worked on those hitboxes for a not quite flat 2D game. It's a 3D game, I guess, from just a flat 2D perspective, with many layers of foregrounds and backgrounds. It really shouldn't be that difficult to break the furniture if that is a thing you can break. And then the other thought to have there certainly is, if it is that difficult to break the furniture, you're potentially in a position that even with 4 players running around, we need a bunch of gold to buy stuff. Yeah, you potentially have 4 players running around and still none of them actually hitting the sweet spot. So we're doing between 10 and 13 damage. And it seems like the little demon guy doesn't have the ability. And here we can just stomp the guy, although it eventually did break out of that, probably by nudging the character. We're just switching between the laser sword and laser sword over and over again. Alright, so this was the guy that we died to last recording, and this will be the third of the. I'm not sure how you were really supposed to get away from that guy. So over here we've got, maybe I just need to defend against that. Like, we've got this casket, but it can't be hit. And I don't feel like there's any way to stop push the casket. But there is clearly something in the idea of getting him in that area, because it seemed to kind of lock him into an attack pattern that he can't really do anything with. Unlike the giant cat, though, it doesn't seem like there's any strategy here. Alright, I'm gonna drink a potion, and we will get this done. But it still took one potion, which is fine. But it does kind of belie a potential problem as we get into later bosses, that if I'm just not warmed up, if I just haven't warmed up by the time I get to the boss fight, my button combo attacks that I've learned, if I've forgotten those, which I've never really played a lot of fighting games, so memorizing and preloading combos and then having the actions take place after the fact is an unfamiliar feeling for me, compared to most video games where you just press a button and you have a near instantaneous or instantaneous fight. There's a Terminator reference, so can't free her. So let's look and see where all these things drop. These giant gems, though, are really only giving you about 10 gold. And now we free her. We get a smooch, which is way more than a smooch there. I don't know if the different color knights are supposed to have like a specific love interest. It feels like, as much as this game felt like it, they were trying to push it as a series, as something of actual substance, that in the sense that it feels like there would be a spin-off comic book or cartoon or other element. That kind of didn't seem to happen. So here we have another thing we can't afford. Bombs that we could afford. This that we can afford. This, which is probably just instant food. And another pet we can't afford. And then potentially a cave that opens up. And over here we have a volcano arena, but we are kind of at this point either going to open up a new area, or we're at the end of the game, and it's pretty obvious we're not at the end of the game. So I remember playing this section, certainly, but honestly, I'm not 100% sure I actually do remember playing these sections, because they're all the same. In the idea of warming up, the short number of enemies you fight in these levels is part of that problem. If I had just taken a week break after the last level, and this was the first time I was back to the game, They threw 3 enemies at me that were fairly difficult and had a pretty high health. Now they're gonna throw 3 more enemies, 4 more enemies at you. It feels like you could have kind of easily started with just 1 enemy or 2 enemies, since this is the introduction of these new enemies, and then gradually worked our way up. That there are abridging elements of this game that I don't think should have been abridged in as far as a hack and slash RPG, a hack and slash with RPG elements. Yeah, and if you were in a modern time playing this game on like a cell phone, having less combat encounters doesn't make it a better game. So now we've got just another group of 3, with the only thing that really changed being the fact that there's slightly more ground dangers, which could be useful. I mean, certainly you could potentially get somebody to walk in front of the lava and get hit, but I'm not even sure these enemies really do take too much damage. There, I had to use another potion. Also, because you're not grinding on cheap cannon fodder enemies ever, you don't get any great opportunities to find potions, if potions are ever going to be a thing that you find, or bombs. And now that they've kind of gone in the opposite direction, like, and thrown 1 guy at me, and there's a sandwich. Sandwich apparently is a form of refills. I was thinking maybe what you were supposed to do here, or maybe we just save ourselves some time, is if we got into a spin attack and then saw if we could use that to get us over this fence. But no. Just look at how much damage these guys take. I mean, here. Okay, so the sandwiches make you giant, and I guess that's what the symbol there was. I thought I would have I thought it would have been more of a case of the sandwich was just going to be an item you dropped, and that was going to convince the guys to open the gate for the sandwich itself. So now that we have this sandwich ability, we could probably go back and free the other princess, which is nice. And I still think this game goes quite a far distance, so like I don't think we're anywhere close to the end. That'd be really silly. We have people in ash with these little fire devils. So, and inside the people is hamburgers, which are health refills. I am the red knight, so if red was supposed to be a fire resistance or a fire spell, I would see some benefit from that right now. I think that's severely inaccurate, though. I don't think that's the case in this game. I think the red knight takes the pretty much exact same damage as everybody else. A lot of these characters that are being depicted here do look like they're custom made art, which is interesting, but I don't know if it's super helpful for the game to have these like custom looking characters that probably won't ever show up and get reused again. Compare that to the experience that we're having, where we are now in like the 5th fight of the exact same looking characters back to back. There's no variety here at all, which makes it almost feel like the game was written in such a way that they could not load 2 different character AIs or 2 different character textures at the same time, or 3 different character AIs and textures at the same time. And there's really no reason why that would be the case other than just a lack of ability in programming. So I almost certainly have to assume that this was a aesthetic decision that was just a bad aesthetic decision. And yep, I'm still managing to get killed. It probably isn't the smartest idea to do this, but we'll see. Because our first goal is not really to, well, it shouldn't be to just defeat enemies that happen to be in our way. It should be to rescue the princesses. And they've got like buzzsaws showing up on the ground. Yeah, I've not been able to really put anything into the magics, and I wanted to unlock more magics, but I think doing more damage is the smarter move. They managed to kind of get these cheap shots very much like an arcade game, where it seems fairly unlikely you could dodge something even if you have the block button going fairly quickly. Feels like a magnetic ability to then catch all of the the coins that drop on the floor would be nice, and I wouldn't be surprised if there is some kind of pet that does that. I'm not sure if the pet's really worth that though, but even my current pet is only taking me so far, and he's actually doing a fairly good job. These buzzsaws seem to be coming out of the ground based on nothing. It doesn't seem like the big guys do anything to cause that to happen, or the small guys do anything that cause that to happen. And I would say that the speed at which one is leveling up now is ridiculously high. It feels like I leveled up in the last fight and I've leveled up in this fight. I liked the fairly quick level up that happened in Borderlands, and here we are, definitely having a different kind of experience. But even Borderlands was not so crazy as to have you level up every 5 seconds or so. This is a nightmare scenario, because it's just going to kill you before you even get to the end. And here we have some kind of elevator. I thought it was going to be something closer to like a Donkey Kong level homage. Here we've got a lot more people than usual on the elevator, which might make sense to use a bomb. If I can get people in the general area. Do I have to wait until I kill all these people for the elevator to stop, or is this just a survival for a certain amount of time scenario? I guess maybe if I put more into magic, there might be more damage that gets delivered by the magic, so it might feed into itself better than what it normally looks like, but or how it usually plays, where we're barely doing small amounts of damage. I've got to keep an eye on the health, and when I have to keep an eye on the health, I pretty much then need to stop looking completely at the top, at the middle of the game, and instead look at the top left. These guys are surrounded by smoke, which I guess means they are charging up their own magic attacks. And I guess this guy is the guy that does the buzzsaws. I'm gonna go ahead and use my second to last potion. It is kind of nice that these characters do seem to land on each other and hurt each other. You typically don't see a lot of that happening in beat 'em up games and hack and slash games. You see a little bit of it happening, but typically the characters either get out of the way or something else happens. And I would imagine the sandwiches probably would increase our damage, so if I could just always have a sandwich on me and use it during a boss fight, that would be rather nice. Almost died there. Alright, and so let's just go ahead and bomb and bomb and bomb and bomb. And now we've got a new animal inside of us that we got. A new animal that we have no idea what it does. So we have no idea if this animal is somehow better than the animal before. And here we have some things that I guess we're gonna need to break. Lightning rods and other things. Maybe we're supposed to break this. Oh man, though, this really does just manage to just knock you in such a bad way. There you go. Blow that up. Did that do any damage at all? Is hitting that gun do any damage? Are we trying to get different things to do different damage otherwise? We did pick up one of those. So there's two of them. And this really feels like you are just kind of smacking it back. Now we're getting a flamethrower. It just took a lot of tries. And there's, let's not forget the fire on the edges. We still are half health though, so breaking this only gets you so far. So I think you're supposed to just kind of walk up to the line here. I mean, I can shoot this, I guess, but that's not really a great system we've got going on here. Now I just took 30 damage, and that bomb didn't do anything at all. I mean, I can probably get this guy and then do this. Just set myself up for doing more damage that way. I've got like no attack. Oh, this feels really ridiculous, the way this is designed. This is like barely getting any damage. Maybe the hand won't disappear and we can just get the rest of his health gone by damaging the hand. I guess that might be an idea. I might also have a sandwich, so it might have also been a smart idea to bring out the sandwiches. And nope, I'm just gonna have to take this guy out now. So, and one strong attack does seem to be better than anything else, but then the danger with the one strong attack is that you will just take that last hit, of which so I kind of want to just be careful and go with this. Like, I really don't want to get hit. He's almost dead. But if this isn't a place where I level up or something, then or beat the entire level, then I'm still in trouble because I have barely any health. And there we have the purple girl, the purple haired princess being dragged. And they still are not showing her face, which clearly is going to be some kind of visual glitch. And so now we can see the blonde-haired princess, but the ice character, which makes it feel like we've saved. I thought we've saved 2 or 3 princesses already. So how there are only how there are still 2 left is kind of questionable when they start with 4. So do I want more health and defense, or do I just want to to add to attack. I think I want to max out health and defense, because the way that seems like that's going to play out is as we go to the stores and use the there's some more pass. As we go to the stores and use more potions, we need to make the value of using a potion. Helps you find secret items. So I don't really agree with that. And I don't see why there's 2 items. I mean, I don't see why there's 2 animals there. So, like, we know that there's a secret item back behind there and up at the top. So, I don't know what the real reason for that would be, or why you would want to specifically want to go with that character, unless you're just looking for secrets. And I still feel like the arenas would be way easier to do later on, but maybe that is the problem that we're running into right now, is that we are simply just ignoring all the arenas when we should be grinding out the arenas to level up our characters more, because there definitely is, I guess, room for that. Let's see. So as far as I can tell, you should just have maximum amount of that. Should have at least one of those. Can't really afford that. I'm gonna take 4 of these, and I can't afford that. So yeah, weird position we're in, and now we're back to this. If you die in a level like this, like I did, you kind of don't have any other options. These guys are terrible, and so it pushes you to have to press A lot and do this double attack to get close to a character, and then once you use the double attack you can get in close enough and start hitting X or Y. But yeah, there's a frustration point, I think, of having to do the exact same attack, of which there aren't enough attacks. In some games, what they'll do is you'll hit the X button over and over again, but then contextually the action will be different, either just to make it look better or based on the location of your character versus the opponent character. So if you were, say, above the character and you pressed X, you might do a downward striking motion, whereas if you were below the character, like on your knees or something, you would do more of a upward swinging motion. If you're on the left, you would swing to the right. If you're on the right, you'd swing to the left. Things like that. If you're far enough away that you could hit them with a kick, you might kick them instead of swinging. Just little, almost subtle changes in the actions can bring a lot of life to a game and make the character feel like they are almost died again. They are an actual character. Yeah, the game's still not giving any kind of audio cues or feedbacks when you're about to die. And certainly, I guess if you were playing as 4 characters, that might not be a problem, because you probably don't lose the game if you die when you have other characters playing with you. You probably just get knocked down where you can get revived. And you probably only lose a level if all 4 of the players get knocked down at the same time. Here. This would be a great place to grind for sandwiches, but it becomes a little too much of a hassle to do it, frankly. And then they throw a guy at you. You can't do magic, by the way, when you're big. And the time that ability lasts is rather short. I also kind of argued that the wind up of the enemies doing their magic or long distance attacks is a little fast, and it doesn't seem like every long distance attack that they do is what's that word? Isn't foreshadowed, I suppose, is a word you can use. Like they don't always have a fog around them if they're about to do a distance attack. They only have a fog around them if they're about to do a distance attack with magic. And then you can see that guy has fog around him, but he's kind of doing absolutely nothing. Well, he waits for me to attack the other enemies, which makes the enemies not really feel that smart. Just keep on breaking things because we're trying to find as much food as possible. They do seem to love to get up and just immediately attack, which doesn't seem like it's something you can particularly do. Like, next time I'm down, XXX, yeah, there's like 5 or 6 seconds, it feels like, probably closer to 2 seconds, after you've been knocked down before you can actually do anything. And the fastest time from getting up to actually attacking safely is just to hit A and then hit A again and try and have a spin attack that hits, which doesn't help or work as well as it would or should. My health is about out again. Bag of money, gem, which is literally just 3 more coins over a bag of money. Rubies seem to be the big ticket items. So here's the flying guy in the background, and we didn't even really see him. And here we have a flying demon knight character that decided to make a bunch of skeletons, of which some of the skeletons seem to have glowing swords, which probably indicates that they hit harder than the other characters without the glowing swords. I almost died again. You can definitely feel a lack of polish here. I imagine if you were playing a turn-based RPG like one of the Final Fantasy, and you went from spending 5 minutes on choosing your actions and turns, and then you look up and you've died just because the life indicator is just not up in the right place and coming to your attention when your characters are low on health. I imagine there probably have been quite a few RPGs that play like that, but any that consistently played like that, if you are potentially dying every 5 minutes simply because the menu and the health management is such an awkward experience that just doesn't feel optimized, I doubt you'd want to play that game for much longer. after the second or third time where you felt like you'd been kind of just cheated, or you don't know why you died, which there's a great example again, just not really sure why I died there. Let's see if we can maybe get a better weapon or something. Now that or at the very least, maybe we can get a level up. Like we're not too far away from a level up anyways, so I wouldn't be surprised. These are the early enemies we had, and they really shouldn't be any bit of a challenge, and they don't seem like they really are, although they still are not anywhere close to one-hit kills. But yeah, they're not hitting me very hard, and I'm hitting them fairly hard. Here we've got all 3 gates now opening, so they're throwing lots of people at us. But yeah, looking at the top left here, there's not a lot to say, but if you look at the top left, we've got almost all of our health. These guys still seem to have the same knockdown and stun potential as they always have, but they can no longer really hurt me. And even in larger groups, the best they can do is just knock me to the edge. And I think the cat hurt me more than anything. This arena feels like it's an experiment on how many undespawned or not despawned corpses can they have on the screen at the same time, because there's quite a lot here. But they still have these ranged attacks that don't really work. Then you get such large groups together that it's hard to tell how many actual enemies are still alive versus the ones that are just dead. Our life is still good. Apparently we just got hit with a crit, or we just landed the first crit we've ever landed in the entire game. There we go. He's just like pointing. And because we did that, we've unlocked a new character, which is fine if you want to play the game and unlock new characters, but didn't feel like we even got any different experience there or money, so the arenas actually are kind of useless. Well, that doesn't help us much, does it? And it feels like if you're going to have an X button that returns us home, they might as well just have a button that jumps us to the furthest spot, because this is fairly linear. So back for the third time to this. And maybe I should have bought some more potions. Yeah, I just got another crit, but it doesn't feel like I've been getting crits before this point. One more level. This level has allowed us slash caused us to level up 2 or 3 times already. Make me wait at the fire wall just as an educational thing that we really didn't need to learn, that lava shooting up from the ground probably is not passable. Yep. As a video game critic, it is pretty impossible to have something new to say the 3rd time you play the level, other than choice 4-letter words of just irritation. I mean, you're definitely not going to have a great experience if you're running through the same thing over and over again when you don't want to run through the same thing over and over again. There are a few great games out there that would make it so that you would be happy to play the same level over and over again, but most, no, that's not the case. Even if you're playing something like a solitaire game, the idea of doing the exact same game of a solitaire with the exact same initial card layout is pretty ridiculous. Even if it would potentially grind you up and allow you to go up more levels. You gotta take out 2 of these guys, that way we make some progress each time we do this. That guy's now floating in the air. Come on. Don't die. Keep an eye on your health. It feels kind of sucky that you can't run forward through this, too. Like, you would think that while the game may try to slow you down a little bit, there's really no reason for you not to be able just to mess up the game balance a little bit and run ahead, and then run into potentially a very strong boss that you would have to grind on. I would be much happier if that was the scenario that was happening right now, where we had just run ahead and not fought every single enemy multiple times. Well, we haven't fought every single enemy multiple times, but we've definitely fought some enemies a lot. But yeah, this is not good. This is not good that there really is no balance curve here that you can get ahead of. Instead, you're just always going to be behind it. Unless I've just completely misunderstood the stat system, and maybe if I did put just everything, that was not what I meant to do. Let's kill this guy. Look at how this gets me all in the air. I meant to drink a health potion. I guess what we can do in this section, as we are trying, is we could not bother to kill the characters. Can I not hit this lava cover tree? Like, oh, if a character doesn't have food inside of them, it's kind of no reason to kill them. And if we kind of memorize where the food is, then I don't think we have to kill as many characters. I'd forgotten that there was a couple more fights here. I thought we were making better time. There's definitely a problem with the way this plays though. Like the idea that you can spend an hour on basically one level and maybe not actually finish it off, but at least get 2 or 3, if not 5 or 6 level ups. Yeah, there's just a major imbalance the way this all plays for a single player. It probably is perfectly fine to play this. Like that cutscene, for instance. Am I supposed to believe that there would be 4 times as many skeleton characters on the screen right now if I was playing with 4 characters? I kind of don't believe that. So my assumption would be that this is close to, if not the exact number of enemies you'd be fighting with 4 characters, same as 3, same as 2, same as 1. We've also run out of the idea of where we are going to try and have a leader character. There's seemingly no lead skeleton here, unless it's the green shirted one that seems to just move faster, or the gray shirted one that seems to have maybe more armor on. I do have to applaud the idea that they've done here, even though they haven't done it with a lot of the other enemies, by having the skeletons be classified by their outfits into 2 or 3 different types of skeletons. But there's nothing going on right now. It is just me hitting A and then A and then A and then A and then A and just trying to somewhat direct the spinning attacks and somewhat herd the enemies all in a general direction. And I'm not sure we're really getting that. Not getting anywhere very fast, because the spin attack is doing like 3 attacks. There's my health is almost gone, so we almost died yet again. And we're down to our last potion. And there, I got a level up in the middle of the fight where it was rather useless. How many of these people need to be off the field before I have enough room to breathe that I could try to do any other kinds of attacks instead of just a spinning attack? Because it's been, I don't want to exaggerate, it feels like it's been 6 minutes of just pressing A. It probably has been closer to 3.5 minutes, but even at that, it is ridiculous that you literally could blister your finger just pressing A, because there's not enough breathing room to press X, or let alone even start to think about pressing Y and doing the stronger attacks. And then finally cleared off enough of them. So is this the end of the level? No. It's literally just more of the same. We got a short breather with the... We got a short reprieve with the dumb skeletons, and then it's just back to the fire demons. And you can't really see the outfits that the demons are wearing because it's not prominent enough, but you could easily have had the fire demons be different colored skin, like green and instead of red or blue, or you could have had their wings change, or their wings be a different color as a secondary color. These little tangling of swords moments don't add much to the game. They're not fun or unique, nor are they rewarding because you don't get anything special for winning them other than potentially not taking damage. Yeah, it feels like a tangle like that should end with him dropping food or gold or something, and there should be probably some audio element to that also, and we're just not getting that audio feedback. I don't see a reason why there shouldn't be some audio feedback, because if there was 4 players playing at the same time, they still would hear the hacking and slashing elements. Interesting that you can fall off. Can't fall off after this point though. Interesting. So, yeah. They probably wouldn't have had the budget to have 4 distinct voices from 4 distinct voice actors have each character say like, yeah, or my health is low, or something like that. Whereas at least later Diablo games definitely had the characters all voiced somewhat to say my health is low or out of mana, things like that. Okay, so we are fighting now an active volcano that seems to me like it's gonna be a pain in the butt. Like the wheel attack before, when we were dealing with the piano, it seems like they target on and attack too early and too fast. So I don't know really the safe way to deal with this, and it doesn't kind of feel like I'm actually doing any damage. So maybe this is a fight that doesn't actually involve fighting the volcano as I am. Maybe this is a sandwich fight. Yes, it is. Okay, well that explains quite a bit. So they want me to punch this dumb volcano until it's dead. And then we'll see. I guess we'll go back to being a sandwich person. And this is getting his health downwards at the bottom there. So yeah. So we killed the guy, and we get a couple of sandwiches. And for safety's sake, I'm just gonna use a potion. And now we are completely out of potions. I don't even know if we are going to free a princess in this one. Oh yeah, if I recall correctly, this was like a very confusing, very confusing boss battle. I think what they want me to do is probably punch the falling rocks, maybe? I mean, I can hit the guy, and I guess I can do enough damage. So, am I doing enough damage, or should I try the giant thing? See. I cannot get high enough to hit him with the sandwich. So, yeah, that didn't work. It seems weird that the guys do seem like they're coming one at a time, but whatever. And it does kind of just seem like there, I got a free health up and I kind of needed it. It feels like the sock puppet character is not a target. So if there was anything to do around that idea, I would have done it. And then you just kind of walk through the mountain and nothing happens. Interesting way to finish a level. So you just kind of feels like you're not in a great position ever. You never have enough money, you never have enough health. Yeah, they've used their magic to bring this guy back to life, but that probably doesn't mean you need to go back to the same level that you've been to before. Maximum defense. And I think we need to start thinking about, let's balance this out a little bit and see if speed just increases attack to a better point. I don't think it really will. But the only other thing would be to just every now and then start putting things into magic. So if we go over to the volcano store, could purchase this weapon, which is a +5 damage, or you do the thing you should do, which would be to buy a bunch of potions and buy a bunch of bombs. And over here, we don't have anything. So that was just a waste of a sandwich. And there was another place that we saw that probably could be destroyed by a sandwich, but I kind of don't remember which level that would be. Where are we on the list of just weapons? Like, we've got weapons that are just way down this direction, which really feels like we have just kind of missed a lot of weapons in general. Let's see, now if we exit to the map from here, that should be fine. And then I wanted to see the castle keep and see if the prices are any different. It is slightly cheaper to go back to the castle keep and buy the potions there. And since every penny seems to count, that does seem like that puts you in a nice position. And we now have all 3 of the items. Let's see, can we look at information? Weapon statistics. We're at level 10 apparently, or that's a level 10 weapon. We're not really at level 10. So I guess maybe we're at weapon level 10? No, because here we're seeing other weapons that are getting labeled by a subset of level 10. We also found some level 5s. So maybe they jump up in increments of 5. So you have level 1s, level 5s, and level 10s. It doesn't feel like we're going to find too many more secrets or more of these ant pets. Maybe we found about 1/3 of them. And gameplay wise, like, I think we're at rank, well, I guess we could kind of go back and look. I think we're at like rank 23, and we're getting 2 or 3 ranks every hour's worth of gameplay, so we could easily be at rank 50 before it starts to max out. And depending on the number of pips and power-ups they give us, there's still plenty of pips to go around to increase our damage, increase our magic, and increase our speed. And I kind of don't feel like this is a game where we would hit a max level of rank 50 and still not have enough pips to get everything unlocked. Also, since that is such a major gameplay mechanic in this game, if that was the case, then that would be incredibly disappointing. And since each of these levels are kind of just the same thing over and over again, it does feel like the entire game is just dumbed down to an extreme level that takes it too far. And it's getting kind of dull, even though I've been taking breaks and not really even playing it too much like a marathon gamer would. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.